Hey, this is Alvin Jones, the creator of Rap City, letting you know you are checking out Knowledge the God. That's that man that you need to know about. And the show is Hip Hop is Real because hip hop is real. Take it from me, Alvin Jones, the Rap City creator. You need to be with Knowledge the God because hip hop is real, for real.
Yo, what's up, bro? It's your boy Knowledge the God, hip hop is real. And we are here with a legend. One of the guys that, if you've grown in this culture of hip hop, he's influenced you in some type of way. Alvin Jones, the creator of Rap City. You already know. How you feeling today, King?
Hip Hop the God, how are you, man? This is a joy. Guess what? I've done something worthy to be on Hip Hop is Real with Knowledge the God. That's it. Other than that, and the fact that my parents, who are 93 and 91, are proud of me, this is a great life.
This weekend, we're celebrating you, man. You know what I'm saying?
No,
well,
you're
this
celebrating hip hop. I was just there for it.
Listen, but you know, you are, if hip hop is a house, right?
Right.
You are part of the foundation of the bricks being laid. You are part of, you know, you probably put a window up in that house.
To the windows,
you know what I'm
to
saying?
the walls.
You know, you've influenced us in major ways and things like that. And me, I can say, I've experienced that. From 98, when I really got into hip hop at 10, 11 years old, to 2008, from that 10-year span of me being in tune with Rap City and things like that, it really influenced me a lot. But you know, first question I want to ask is, you know, who's Alvin Jones, and you know, what got you into the culture of hip hop?
All right, who Alvin Jones is, always remember this. I am the son of Lois and Willie Jones. My parents are 93 and 91. I just saw them last week. My father said he's proud of me, and there's nothing like having a father be proud of you. So everything that I've been able to do is because of the knowledge and the wisdom and the care and love that they've given me. Not only my mother and father, but my sisters, my big brother, my cousins. We've always been a very close family, so I've always had that support. I'm a person, I consider myself a world citizen. I care about people. I want to make the world better and use whatever we can in that route. So, this summer was the 60th reunion of the March on Washington. And it wasn't a commemoration, it was a continuation. So if you look at what's been going on in this country, what's been going on that has been affecting people of color, it's a parallel to what was going on back in 1963. So I'm 64 years old. So in 1963, I was 4 years old. I'm watching with my cousin Sylvia. My parents and my cousins, like I said, my family's always been in it from the beginning. They were at the March on Washington. I'm 4 years old, so of course I can't go. And I'm watching this black and white TV, and I see crowds of people. And my cousin Sylvia tells me, you know, your parents and your cousins are there. And here I am on this black and white TV. I'm like straining, you know, and I'm trying to find my parents.
Wow.
And they're saying there's 250,000 people there. And I realized about 10 years ago, that's when my life destiny was formed. Because they always say, listen, teach a child when he's young, when he grows up, he will not depart from their ways. So whatever you put into a child from the age of their birth to 8 years old sets the foundation. So I'm 4 years old and I realized something, the power of media, and secondly, the need to get involved in issues and programs and initiatives that are bigger than you. So that's where I've kind of been. So what I was able to do is to leverage hip hop, which is coming up, and know that these are the young folks that are doing this, and say, how do we take this and make it work? And I got to give a big credit to Bob Johnson, because when I was in high school, I graduated high school in 1977. I wanted to have the first black television network. And back then, cameras, like, I still like video stuff. So I just bought recently a 6K video camera for like $2,500. It's a studio camera. I'm like, that's great. But back then, those regular cameras were $60,000. $60,000 in 1977 for a television camera, and it wasn't even HD. And that did not include the lens. So the lens was like $15,000. So I knew it in high school that I needed $225,000 just for the camera itself, for the 3 cameras. But that didn't stop because I was, when you're young, man, you think you can do anything. You got that. And that's what I like about young people. They're like, yeah, we bold, we could do this. And I was like that way too. So I used to be young and I had that boldness. And that was the thing I liked about rap, between the rap battles and the break dancing and that talking. It was like, we're promoting ourselves. Yeah, I'm bad, like LL Cool J say, or Big Daddy Kane ain't no half stepping, if you listen to all of the hip hop, it's always about this self-confidence. And so I got a chance to work for Bob Johnson. Like I said, I didn't have the first black television network, but I worked for the first black television network. And they offered me a job. Can you imagine that? They offered me a job. And I got the opportunity. And my first day there was my mother's birthday. So my mother's birthday present is her son had a job and I had a chance to get his own apartment. And my baby got a job.
How old were you?
I was 25.
Wow.
And if you think about it, the one thing a parent wants is their child to get a job. So, best thing you can give your mama and daddy is a full-time job. Facts. So, I'm there the first day. It's September 17th, 1984, 9 a.m. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm working for the first black television network. We're gonna make some changes and da-da-da-da-da. And here's what I discovered that day. You cannot change the world if you cannot pay your rent. We're always talking about we're gonna do this, and we're still we're scraping for pennies. So the one thing, I can see why Bob Johnson is a billionaire, because he was focused. And I picked up on that focus that first day. He says, my goal is to make black entertainment television the predominant source for advertisers to reach the black community. So Jeff Lee was the person who called me and connected me with Bob Johnson. And he says, Bob Johnson said this, I'm gonna be on my boat. I'm gonna call Jeff and say, how's everything going? He's gonna say, fine, Bob. And I'll say, fine, I'll call you tomorrow. So right from Jump Street, we knew what the play was. It's to create an entity that people could go to watch, and advertisers would be able to target the black community and say, here's where you can get this black community here. And he did some amazing things. He went to Budweiser and said, hey, Budweiser, tell you what, give me $500,000 a year and you'll be the only beer that we put on. Those are things were innovative. I learned from Bob about POs and purchase orders and invoices and all of those things that were business. And what we did, video sold, everybody loved video sold. If you were a black artist, you wanted to sit on the couch right next to Donnie Simpson. So that was the flagship, and that was the money maker, and that was the attention getter. I remember we had to send a letter in 1984 to the record companies to get them to send us music videos. They did not think that black people wanted to see black people in music videos. So we had to beg them. Here's the trick. Video Vibrations, which, we put Rap Week on Video Vibrations, it broke rating records, and that spit off to Rap City, right? But Video Vibrations was 4 hours long.
Okay. When
we started in 1984. The first video we played was Prince's When Doves Cry, right? So now, we played a video. So Video Soul, there weren't many black videos. So Video Soul just played 2 hours of black videos.
Okay.
So now we're playing Billy Joel, we're playing Rod Stewart, Ronnie Millsap, we even playing the group Scandal, shooting down the walls of heartache. So we're playing everything.
Okay.
And we're still begging the record companies to get us black videos. So we sent a letter to every record company from Atlantic to Warner Brothers saying, please send us videos, we'll play them. And the only company that followed up was CBS Epic Portrait and associated labels. So they had Michael Jackson, they had Billy Joel, they had Bruce Springsteen, Cyndi Lauper, and they gave us this new group for a world premiere. It was Miami Sound Machine Conga. So as time kept going on, we were slowly pushing. And one time, Rick James and Smokey Robinson had a song called Ebony Eyes. And it hit the top of the charts, and they finally decided to make a video. So it was Carolyn Eiley and Bill Parker did this video. It was the biggest budget at that time, other than Michael Jackson's Thriller, for a black video.
Wow.
They spent $70,000 on that video. By the time the video got done, the record had fallen off the radio charts. And we realized we had to play the video. Because if we didn't play that video, if we didn't play it in heavy rotation, it would have meant record companies wouldn't have put any money in music videos at all.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
What was your position at 25 when you got hired?
Well, here's the thing that was funny. I was originally hired to do the voiceover. Well, I was to be the host for Video Vibrations.
Okay,
So,
okay.
You know how
okay.
if you watch Charlamagne the God, or if you The Breakfast Club, or if you watch Howard Stern, how they have, you have the cameras in the studio.
Yes.
So it was going to be, I'm the disc jockey, and we're playing
Gotcha.
music videos.
Gotcha.
So the way it was set up, we had two guys. We had Kevin and Lewis that were doing the playback, and they would do the switching. And so there was an audio booth right there, and I'm, like a regular radio DJ, but we would have a camera in. So the camera never came in. So originally I was going to be hired just as the host. And then Bob Johnson came in. I was meeting with Jeff Lee over in Georgetown, and Bob came in the office, and he said, Jeff Lee said, hey Bob, this is Alvin Jones, the guys, we're going to have a Video Vibrations. And so we're going to have him just for this. And Bob says, well, why don't we make him an announcer and put him on full time? I'm like, what? Bob Johnson just gave me a full-time job with benefits? Wow.
Game changer.
Game changer. Now, the other thing was, I had gone to Howard University, dropped out, but there was at the time public access channels. And I was working for, the great thing about public access channels, they give you equipment that you can check out and places to edit. So I had started this thing called Star Talk because Rick James had gone on Billboard and complained about MTV not playing black music videos.
Okay.
And there were three guys that worked with Warner Brothers who had let me see videos. So we actually four: Doug Daniels, Patrick Spencer, Tony Winger, and Woody Johnson. And they knew that I was a television production major. So Atlantic Star had videos, Stacey Lattisaw, Lakeside had a video for Fantastic Voyage, Shalimar had videos, The Whispers had videos. So I knew these videos had existed. And since Rick James had called out MTV, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do something. So I put together 2 episodes of a show called Star Talk and put that on public access. So when BET hired me, they found out that I knew how to produce, so I came in as a producer. So the year that I came in, and the great thing about BET is they hired folks at Howard University. You didn't have to go to New York or LA. You came out of Howard University and you could work for BET. But most of the folks that were in my same class, by the time they graduated, they came in as a production assistant. So you have production assistant, associate producer, and producer. But because I was doing work with public access and working on developing my skill, I came in as a producer. So I was 2 grades ahead. So I was the producer and the host. And actually, I'm still working now with it right outside in Washington, D.C. area, Arlington Independent Media. The young lady is Whitney Conoto, and same thing. She's working to abolish racism, white supremacy. She's about LGBT community. She's dealing with autism and all of these things. So it's funny, I'm right back where I started and I'm right back where I belong. But it's interesting to have that background. And I always tell people, be prepared. Because if you prepare yourself, the opportunity will come.
It made me think about you at 4 years old, like how it all came around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Watching that black and white screen and then bringing it back to that.
Well,
Oh,
you know what's interesting? I had to be at the 60th this year. And with Arlington Independent Media, I'm now managing a radio station because, when I first started radio was in the community. Now it's all over. So with this radio station that we have at Arlington Independent Media, we're in the community, and we're just across the river from the Lincoln Memorial. So it's like God is replacing me where He wants me to be. 60 years later, I'm right where the whole thing started.
Dope. I want to change directions a little bit.
Okay.
Hip hop. Around that time, you're 25. Like, what was the state of hip hop? You getting this major job at this major black company, and you know what I'm saying? And it's for us, by us, in a sense. What is hip hop at this time for you?
Fun.
It's existing? It's like flourishing? Is it like, well, if you could give me a little description of what was going on around that time as far as hip hop.
Well, you remember during that time in 1984, we had the Fat Boys.
Okay.
We had who else we were playing?
Or you know what? When was your first introduction? Since you are working and you're doing that, when did you first get introduced to hip hop?
Oh, that was Sugar Hill Gang.
Okay.
The Sugar Hill Gang was the first introduction. Then Curtis Blow, Run DMC. It's like that.
And you fell in love automatically.
Oh man, it was the music. Plus, you started hearing other beats. To me, when I first got to Howard University, we had a station on campus. And then you also have WHR, which is like this #1 station in Washington, D.C. that we as students were able to start working at. But we were playing the Last Poets and the Gil Scott-Herons. You see what I'm saying? And if you really think about it, hip-hop was, even the Temptations did hip-hop. Think about it, people moving out. People moving in. Why? Because of the color of the skin. Run, but you still can't hide. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hip hop is so about everything that we do. Hip hop is about justice. Hip hop is really about mental health. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here.
Freedom of expression.
But don't tempt me. You see what I'm saying?
Freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Or as Ice-T had a song called Freedom of Speech, but watch what you say. So those are the stories, it's the messages. And so a lot of times people try to denigrate hip hop. But it's like this. Nobody wants to arrest Stephen King for all of the horror movies he put together. I just interviewed a buddy of mine, Frederic Yannet. He did the music, he's a harmonica player, worked with Prince, Stevie Wonder, and he did the music soundtrack for The Irishman with Martin Scorsese. And, in The Irishman, they were killing people. And nobody arrests Robert De Niro, nobody says, Leonardo DiCaprio, we're gonna indict you.
Yeah.
Because it's fiction. Sometimes what is in our mind ain't necessarily what we're gonna do, but we need to let it out. And that's the one thing I want folks to understand. Mental health is important. It is extremely important because we are all dealing with some types of trauma. And as black men, we always go, I'm gonna be all right. I'm good. But we have to talk about things. One of the things about hip hop is you're saying your frustrations. You're saying the crazy ideas in your head. And sometimes just because you say it don't mean you're gonna do it. Because, a lot of times we always like, oh, you mess with me. And it's our way of standing up for ourselves. Bottom line, I'm giving you a warning. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm as good as the best of them, bad as the worst. Don't tempt me. In other words, give me my space, give me my peace. Because we as black folks, we need space, we need peace, we need the ability just to sit down and think and not deal with the trauma that we have to deal with.
And even when you're speaking on trauma, it's like, it's also a news source to give you an insight of what's going on in our neighborhood. Like Brenda's got a baby,
right,
and things of that nature.
Oh,
you hear
God.
what's I might not experience it,
right,
but this is what's happening this is what I'm seeing.
Whoa. But just the whole thing, I remember that was the first video we had for Tupac. Brenda's got a baby.
Oh, word?
Yeah, that was the first video we played by Tupac.
Fire.
Brenda's got a baby. I remember right as I was leaving BET, I was saying some of the guys that helped me, like Woody Johnson, calls me, hey, we got Tupac. Tupac went to an elementary school, and at that time he was telling the students that he was getting ready to do a movie with Janet Jackson, which ended up being, poetic justice.
That's crazy. Oh, I wanted to ask about Rap City. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys come up with that idea? You know what I'm saying? Well, of course, you're the creator, but what sparked this idea?
All right, couple of things. We were playing rap videos, so like I said, the Fat Boys, Eric B. Rakim, I Ain't No Joke. I used to. So we were having fun with all of these things. They're playing basketball.
Mm-hmm. Classics.
Right. So in New York, there was a big conference called the New Music Seminar, and people thought, because remember, they did not want to take a chance with rap in Video Soul because that's the flagship. Mm-hmm. So this is okay. It's kind of like not ready for prime time. This is the development league. So we had Video Vibrations. So we became everything. And because everybody knew about Video Soul, and it came on at night, in some parts of New York, we were sharing time with other channels. So Lionel Martin and Ralph McDaniels had Video Jukebox, and they had New York locked down. They were serious about this. They had it locked down. And so unless you watched us late at night, you didn't see Video Vibrations on the original air.
Okay.
So we had the New Music Seminar, and the rappers were there. It was Queen Latifah, Luke, all the guys, right? And they were like, oh, BET ain't playing no rap. I'm like, we're playing rap? Oh, man, you're not. And so, I got
some pushback, huh?
Well, but see, here's the other thing. First of all, my dad's 93. He's got spunk, so I've always been taught to be my own person and stand up for myself. I wear a suit. Some people call me an elite, so whatever. I was on its academic team, so I'm like a nerd in a way.
Gotcha.
But in D.C., before we moved to Maryland, the suburbs, I lived in Ward 7 of Washington, D.C., between Eastgate and Simple City. So
I'm from the, come on, man.
So I grew up between two projects.
Let's go.
So I'm like this. If I'm wrong, I ain't saying nothing.
Uh-huh.
But if I know I'm right, still to this day, I will argue. So we're at the New Music Seminar, and Hank Shockley, we're with Public Enemy, was saying, oh man, y'all ain't playing hip hop. What the heck are you talking about, man? I'm playing hip hop. No, you ain't playing no hip hop. Like, listen. He says, you ain't even playing Dougie Fresh. I mean, kiss my, you know what. Mm-hmm. I was just on the phone with Dennis, Dougie Fresh's manager, and I made sure I said the name Dennis so he knows I know who Dougie Fresh's manager is, because I want him to guest host the show. Mm-hmm. So this is around the time where Ice-T had just come out with Colors. And so Ice-T standing like, I ain't saying nothing, man, he's playing us. And it's funny because we just found a video, a radio exclusive, same time, We're going back and forth as me and Ice Cube arguing because NWA wanted to get played on BET, but we can't play certain things at a certain thing. Mm-hmm. But we had dialogue, and even after that, that was an intense panel, and I've always been intense anyway. And it was funny because after that, me and Eazy-A just went and we had a conversation. I said, listen, man, I can't front. I said, yeah, I'm on BET. I can't go back to my neighborhood where I played basketball, not very well, and act like I'm the man. They'd be like, dude, remember you used to beg us to put you on the team? Remember you used to miss the bus and my mama give you a ride to school? So I said, I understand you have to represent your community. So there was heated discussion, but there was also a meeting of the mind. So for me, people that I argue with, we become friends because once people realize they can say what they have to say, and they allow me to say what I have to say, and if what they say has some truth to it, I'm not trying to win the argument, I'm trying to get to the truth. So when you tell me something and I find out how you really feel, because most cases people don't say anything. My father always said, if you want to find out how a person really feels, make them mad.
Yeah.
So once we get to that, and real men sit and talk and say what we don't like, and I don't like this, and you're getting on my nerves, and da-da-da, and then you resolve it. So with that, I said to Hank, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Since y'all think we don't play rap, I'm gonna do a whole week of rap. So back then, School didn't start until after Labor Day. So I said that last week that everybody is home, I'm just gonna do a week's worth of rap, and if it ain't rap, it's a commercial. Went to the promotions department, said, hey, can we promote that? Yeah, we don't think so. I'm like, okay, fine, do it. Came back, did the rap week, found out, based upon the ratings, the most watched show in the history of BET.
Game changer again.
Game changer. And Bob looked at it and go, wow. And like I said, Bob Johnson hired me. Bob Johnson had faith on me. He didn't, and see, Bob understood one thing, that the people on the production department, they're creatives. Bob was a business person. He had worked for a press secretary for one of the congressmen. He was an executive with the National Cable Television. He was about business.
Yes.
But he understood, oh, these creative folks are a little different over here. But he allowed us to do that within reason. So, boom, we did that. And then we wanted to do another rap week. And so I figured the best time to do it is when everybody is out of school and they're looking for something to do. So we put together one for between Christmas and New Year's. At that time, BET had just gotten their own sales office. We were partners with HBO. So the sales department was inside of HBO, just got their new building, and James Ebron, who was the vice president of sales, came to and said, hey, if you want to shoot your stuff here, you can use our office. So the office were new, and we had a room in the back, but there wasn't much furniture. So we had all of these rap acts. We had Shinehead, Sweet Tea, The Get Fresh Crew, Fat Boys, Kid and Play, Audio 2 and Milk. I think it was MC Light. And we had no place to put them. So they're sitting on the floor waiting to go inside. And James was kind enough, he says, okay, I'm gonna order some pizzas and some sodas. So I have to thank James Ebron for helping, because he made that second rap week work. And it's between Christmas and New Year's. Next thing you know, boom, highest ratings in the history of BET.